son's on summer vacation, just with the way the day's events and what we have to do today are working out, and the fact that the charts are moving in a fashion that they are, I found this was an appropriate time to come on, update everybody who's not in the Telegram and even some that are about what I've done in position wise. Yesterday I talked about how I was waiting for that few percent confirmation so we could either get to certain points, blah blah blah. Hey, you were either here or you weren't. You can go back and watch. We moved and we held in a good fashion over the weekend. XRP managed to maintain that $2.15 even throughout the evening last night and started reversing courses, which was very nice to see. Never went below $2.06 support. Also nice to see. Got back on top of the uptrend after back testing the pattern breakout. I've never sold my XRP for the reason, well, I mean, I've sold the XRP that was from the 38-cent purchase when we were plus $3. But as far as the main bag of XRP, I didn't sell it during any of this. And I have no ambition to sell it no matter what happens. And that's over 10,000, over 12,000, I believe, tokens. But as far as if you were buying, I said you have to have your own tenacity and your own courage to buy. If you think that was the hold point, which it very well could have been at $2.15 when it got back over, that was an opportunity yesterday. If you didn't think it could hold, well, you had to make a decision. And I said if I was buying there, you couldn't hold if it went past the 206 and back down. But there was definitely some, there's opportunity, but it's just a matter of if you're willing to take it. I can't make you buy something just as much as I can't make you sell something, just as much as I can't make you watch me. You know, I have to compel you to make, I have to make a case. So, very quickly, Theta, the case for me on Theta, and it doesn't mean I have to hold it through oblivion if it were to change its course, and it gave me a hesitancy and it broke down the structure of what I believe is the inverted right arm, then obviously I reserve the right to be able to be like, nope, can't do it. I bought it on HOTCOIN and their fees are almost identical when it comes to spot to BITUNIX, so I can buy and sell out of it if I have to. I don't plan on it. I don't see any reason why I would sell it at this point. But if we do break down and Bitcoin does have to go for that gap area, I would get rid of this before it came down to the inverted head. I would probably release the sword at like 68 and then just reattempt it probably on a breakthrough. But I had a very long discussion with myself about this one and said, are you really gonna just not buy it on this inverted head and shoulders? And if you do buy it, you know damn well you can get out of it very quickly because you watch the charts like no other. So I made the decision that I'm going to buy it. I bought 11,000 tokens. And I'm going to see what happens here. And if that inverted head and shoulders plays out, it's one of the quicker ones that'll get you up with pretty decent gains. But it has to play out. So that's my reasoning for AMP. Not just, I mean with Theta, not just that, it's at the bottom of the formation. You know, that inverted head happened right on the bottom. So now it created the left shoulder and the right shoulder. So if this plays out, it's going to be of substance. Then you go to AMP. And it's pretty much the same case in point. It's on that inverted right shoulder. I played it once, got rejected here, sold it, watched it come down here, and now it started to round. So I bought this back. I talked about it a few hours ago on Telegram as well. But we'll see what happens if it breaks this structure. Then obviously you have to make a decision. 0034 is the part where I'd be like, you know, it can't. There's no reason to play it all the way to the head because you could just buy it back at the head at 2.9 if it held. But if it broke this point right here, well then you're out. And some would say, why so quickly? Because it would break the integrity of what I'm deeming a little bit of a declined right shoulder. But that's what you'd be playing right now in that formation, just like I highlighted it. Just like back here how it happened. You had a left shoulder, head, extended right shoulder, left shoulder, head, extended right shoulder. And then it popped up, got rejected. Now I'm looking for a similar fate. Even if it only comes up to here, that's fine. You know, even if it just plays out of the short-term cup and it comes up to somewhere like this for an 86% gain, fine. And of course I'm measuring it from where it's at now. So, you know, that's the way I looked at both of those. And then data. It's another simple choice. I didn't talk about this in the Telegram yet because it's too volatile. I like to only talk about it when I'm live, especially for position. AMP, Theta, I figured would stay the same. This, I didn't know if it would just fall out after, so Plus, it was on the bottom side of this support resistance side, so it's kind of hard for me to make a compelling case when it's on the outside, even though that's what I'm trying to do with AMP. But now that it's securely bounced back in, it's actually moved up a little bit more than I expected over the last couple of hours. Well, it's consolidated nicely though, so it's actually giving it a nice bull flag setup here. So this is good. So I also bought into data 389,000 tokens. With AMP, I don't even think I said how many. 1.1 million, like 1.1. Here, I'll tell you. Both of those data and AMP are on BITUNIX. So, I mean, I can do what I need to. 385,446. And with AMP, 1,148,805. And then I need to go to HOTCOIN for Theta. I know it's 11,000 plus. And obviously, if it doesn't pan out here and then I have to buy it lower, it's going to be a little bit... Well, it depends where it goes to. That's the thing. Like, you can't judge it right now. You'd have to see where it drops down, and you'd probably end up with more. Theta, 11,217. So, that's what I'm looking at. So, and I figured I would go live because, you know what? Why wait until 6 p.m. and not tell you guys what I did? Because, let's face it, if I didn't tell you about my data move that I made this morning... But what if this bull flag plays out, then I'm fucking you over a little bit because it's fine. As long as I tell you before the bull flag plays out if it does. And then if it doesn't, then you can make a real logical decision on what happens if you're not in. But I didn't want to be the asshole because it already came up and didn't pan out once. And this is what gives the opportunity over time in the last 24 hours for me. And what really gave me the balls to do it is, one, it was the ease that it was starting to push up on the 20-day, but once it got over the 30-minute, I had to make a decision, and I said, fuck it. Fuck it. So it was around the not much lower than it is now, 128, 129, maybe 13, depending on, because I bought it in two little segments, because one filled, one didn't. The bottom line is here, if you think it's going to rally from here, it's going to be because of the golden cross and the hourly. And that means it's going to have some kind of meet point right here, probably. But if it breaks out right now, then you'd be looking at about the 142. And that's why I didn't want to run the risk of doing the live tonight, because then I felt like a dick if it actually played out real quick, because then that's almost 7% differential. Then it would be why would you tell me after that? Why didn't you just come on? So I looked at it from my own perspective if I was waiting for someone, if I was looking for something. Same thing with AMP, it's barely moved. Theta, I can't help that it moved a few percent so far. It's barely moved at all in the structure. In the structural setup, it's nothing. These were just the confirmation of the rounding of the bottoms that you start to look at. XCN early made an early 13%. And this is what I'm saying. I'm thinking that we could bounce like that. And yesterday we talked about the contrarian view in the live. And we talked about, well, everybody's saying that it's going to go down now, and everybody's saying because of the attacks, wouldn't this be a good time to at least retest it? And that's where we started to think long and deep, and that's where I started thinking long and deep about the alternative. And then I started pulling the trigger as it got into the early AM hours and then deeper. I talked about some of the buys in the update this morning. I think I brought up the AMP one this morning. But yeah, that's where I'm sitting. And with Theta, I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror if I didn't buy it. Just one that I've watched since it was hundreds of dollars. And man, oh man. Unfortunately, Shane, I am not holding XCN. Call it an oversight because I was so focused on getting my Theta business done earlier. You should have seen me. I was just chomping at it. And then I said last night, if you see gold start dumping instead of pumping, and we see it down $30 or $40 and we said the opposite with 30 or 40, what it would mean if it was up. We said then something's going on. So then risk assets would be more appealing. And now look, we're down $42. And nothing major's happened with the mining stocks. They're not reacting basically at all. Silver's actually up. So what's happening here is we're starting to divert. So I think silver at some point here is going to be starting something. But the world tensions, it looks like we're going to start to fill some of these upper gaps. And I know we could fill something at 112. So as we would expect, mining stocks are dropping. Absolutely. And I told everybody, now everybody's going to start to try to buy the mining stocks as they went up 30 to 50%. But now they have that. Now you have the back test of validation. It happens all the time. Risk assets and mining stocks are on, or crypto and mining stocks are kind of opposite right now. But as you see, like, there's not that big of a movement. B2 Gold had a bigger one than the rest, at least on my chart. But that's because it had a pretty big move compared to most of them. And so did First Majestic. So Pan America Silver last week on Friday had a 52-week high. So that just puts it in perspective of what's happening with some. So yeah, you have that traditional pullback. With XRP, it's doing phenomenal right now. It got over our first layer at $2.22. Then it pushed over that pivot at $2.29. Now we hit that $2.34 right in the nuts. And now we should back test $2.29 to see these layers as they start panning out. The only thing I have to do during this live, and this is in 20 minutes, is you're going to see me walk outside. I'm going to move my sprinkler. It's going to take me about 2 minutes. And then I'm going to come back in. But I didn't see any reason not to do my live while I'm watering my flowers and my grass and stuff because I got a lot of stuff growing. And my case study with the winter wheat, because it grows like grass for the first couple weeks. Oh my God, it looks so much better. I'm just telling you, we've all been shenagled. If you ever get a new house, because this is what I would do, I would not pay to get new grass put in. I would get winter wheat, and I would sprinkle it across in thick patches in the whole damn yard. I'm dead serious after what I've seen. And every 2 weeks, if you don't want it to grow into like a wheat style, you have to cut it between every 2 and 3 weeks to keep it smaller. And the alternative is the grass looks better than regular grass, the wheat grass, way better. It grows thicker. It feels better on your feet. And guess what the benefit is? You can grow your own stuff because you can make wheat. So you can grow your own breads and everything else. I almost think this is how it was supposed to be. I'm also going to start growing flaxseed and oats that are coming in tomorrow that I need specific time to grow what I want. But I don't know. I think anyhow, we're not going to get into that. I'm going to say hi to everybody, and then we're going to get into XRP because it's doing what it needs to do right now. We got some stuff happening with SEC today. Tomorrow, some ETF stuff with Franklin Templeton's ETF. So we got a lot of stuff going on in the next 24 hours as well. Quattros, welcome in. Quattrus. Aaron R., Joseph Euler, and Frankie Fresh, thank you for being in Times Under 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Mr. Tolly, good evening. And I know your most famous question is, want to get high? And I don't know. We may relax. We never know. Jennifer Kupiak, welcome in, and I hope everything's going good. I hope everything's going good with the animals and everything else as well. Eddie Lance, welcome in, along with Metal Detective North Holland. What's going on, friend? Life's been good. I just ate one of my strawberries out of the garden. It was so damn good. And it was just one of the early runners. A lot of them aren't ready yet, but oh my God, it was so good. And I'm keeping the critters out now. I put a nice chain fence around it. Oh yeah, I've been going crazy. Might even put a second layer, I don't know, but it's working good. Buried it into the ground, put some stakes down. Oh, it's fantastic. But yeah, it's just it's been a lot of work, but it's worth every minute. Was out there for a few hours today, but it's a little different because my son's not in school now. He's on summer vacation with the girls. Michaela graduated high school and she's going off to college after summer, so it's all different. We still have his therapies Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but those are an hour a day, so it's nothing. Mike Honcho, welcome in. The market seems to think the U.S. won't get involved. That's exactly what I was thinking about with the geopolitical tension. That's exactly what it's speaking to. Like, we're going to stay out of it. I think that's a fair statement, Mike. If you monitor what the markets are saying, I think that's fair. The Gatman, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Alec Tony, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Oh, Alec, Always expect the unexpected, even especially in the summer. I won't have to wait till 6 o'clock in a lot of lives. Now, if I find an opportunity, but that doesn't mean I won't come back later. It just might not be tonight in a live. Because today, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. But I still want to do one live, one update, and at least one short a day. I like to do those 3 pieces of content. Because no matter if you're busy at work, that 60-second short gets you in line because it's the micro view of just today's, what's going to happen today and the potential. Then I like to do the update when I first wake up in the morning. In this case, because it's summer vacation, I did the short first while I was walking to the gym. And then when I got home from the gym, I did about 20 minutes. And now we're doing this because that's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to wake up, walk to the gym, and do the short now because the short got like 1,300 views already. Already had 1,000 before I even basically got home from the gym. Then the video, when I put it out a little bit later and not as early in the morning, instead of putting it out at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put it out about I don't know, 2 hours later, and it actually did a lot better from an analytical standpoint. So maybe that'll be a way to hopefully get the notifications out. I know a lot more people for some reason said they got the notification, which was weird. Jesse, welcome in. It's supposed to drip below $2. Gary liquidated others to buy more XRP. Basically, it did drop to 206, but that's what happens. You get that liquidation, and what happened with XRP is it held the support structure. It had to break this for it to be bearish, and it didn't. It stayed through it, held the pattern breakout back test, and we already know it's building an inverse head and shoulders if this actually pans out. And now it broke out off the support, and last night it managed to hold that 215. Now it's at 218. So it was able to do what it needed to do. We even said last night that if it holds this, a very volatile imminent spike would happen, and that's what's happening right now. Now, the technical target right now would be $2.71 in the short term. That's a big move from there. So, yeah. So we look at both sides of things, and what ended up happening is we held the back test. And we even got into a little discussion last night, and this is why it's so important to be here every single day, about the contrarian view last night would have been it's not going to drop. Everybody thinks it's going to with escalating geopolitical tension, like with the war and stuff. That could be a spot where all of a sudden it starts going up, and we started looking at it, and I said once it hits confirmation for me, that's when I would buy in on a few things. I've already stayed in XRP. I'm already in XLM. I'm already in XRP Healthcare. I'm already in 2 million plus tokens worth of DGB. So like, what I wanted to keep, I wasn't letting go because it was still on the support structure. And I wouldn't have let go even if they fell through, because sometimes, especially with the ones that are in the bear market territory, I'm just going to keep accumulating. That's just the way it's going to go. And then eventually, it's either I'm right or I'm wrong. And with that being said, good evening, or good mid-afternoon, I should say. 2:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, June 16th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. And I reside in the great state of Michigan. Julie asked me to charge this, so I tried to strategically get up. Now I won't have to move the sprinkler because my son has already moved it for me. He went outside with Julie, and I didn't know he was going to go back outside because we were already outside. I thought he was going to stay inside for a little bit, but I am wrong. So here, let me go put this phone over there because it takes a different charger, and I'll be right back. I play some music, but I don't have any. All right. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Jesse, welcome in. That is crypto indeed. The Gatman says XP Healthcare up over 10%. Oh, you're talking to somebody else? Yeah, we'll take a look at XRP Healthcare for sure. It was actually back testing. That's one that's been very, 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 very close to breaking out here for some time. And once again, it's gone back over the mid-tier support. So if it can ever hold this, and right now it's in a little flag, last time it failed to produce. I mean, you're talking about up to the top here. It's going to come up to the top of this formation, and that's like 70%. So It's a better shot to buy it when it's around that support structure than the next one, because that's a 70% difference. So you'll have to buy, you know, right now it's like 30 cents on the dollar compared to where it would go if this breaks out to the next layer. Eventually, it's going to break this whole freaking thing. It's going to break this whole damn thing. And when it does, it's going to be unbelievable. We know where we're going with this eventually. We know where we're going. It's just up to everybody if they want to buy it or not. And when we were buying it, it was at 1.72 cents. So we've been waiting and waiting. And we've seen some crazy things with this son of a bitch. We've seen it go all the way up to 48 cents. You know, so we've seen 3,000% moves. It's not unfamiliar to the community. It's happened in a rather quick fashion. So it can happen. You just got to find the right supply shock. Mike says, what's better to move into, AMP or Theta? Well, what do I like better? I like Theta better just because it's in the Internet of Things and what it stands for. But AMP could be the quicker slingshot if that's what you're asking. But it could also be the bigger fallout. But they're both so severely undervalued. And I would say they're almost in an identical formation. You see this formation right now, Mike? Now let's go to Theta. They're almost in the exact same setup. I mean, if you actually look at it, they're pretty much in the same setup. And if they're going to break out, this would be the time. They're getting close to where it's going to happen. It's either going to happen or it's not. And it's getting pretty fucking close. We even have falling, like if you look at this falling on this inverted right arm, I'll go back to AMP as well. And then we got to get into XRP because I'm very excited if it breaks over. It's just we've been here for a while. So it's like, I'm excited. But I'm also excited about some that I don't think a lot of people in the community would be like, oh, I necessarily have this. This is what I'm waiting. This is basically what you have to see. Because it could all be early. Because it could just be back testing this again. This is what I'm conscious of. But if it actually breaks through it, oh, Lord have mercy. Which plant?
I'm going to open it.
Ooh, I'm getting plants after plants. I have like an oasis back there. It's my new addiction. I'm just gardening. Gardening and growing fruits and vegetables and herbs and grains and oats and flaxseed. No, I don't know. Is that a grain? Can't figure out a seed. So it's hard to decide because that's the hardcore reality here. You could very well be buying in and thinking that something's going to happen and then all of a sudden have to sell out and wait for the next layer. That's the reality of where we're at right now. That's why sometimes it'd be a lot easier for me to never say what I do because it's very easy for me to be in something and out when most people wouldn't even really see what's going on. So, like, this is coming back into it, which is nice. Like, because I would look at it like that if it was me. And it is me, so that's how I'm looking at it. So, right now, AMP, you're really trying to make sure it doesn't lose this area. You don't want to come back down to the head. You want to play this off as an inverse right shoulder. So it's basically done all it can do on the way down. It's basically running out of time to be able to pull back up. You know what I mean? It doesn't have any more room. So you're basically buying it on a hope and a wing and a prayer because it's still below the pattern support. But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for some kind of setup that gets it back into the playing zone. And sometimes you got to be aggressive. ZBCN up 22.2 cents. Played right out of that consolidation. Never came down to the 0.033, or 0033, but it came close. Or it never came back to the 0.0021. It may not. You know, this might just play up, and I might have missed an opportunity, and so did you. But it didn't come to the area I wanted, and honestly, my focus was on other things. I've had such a laser focus on AMP and Theta. AMP, Theta, and data. I can't describe it. You know, IOTA, I've got the same, and Algo. But for movement purposes, when you talk about a move and how backed up these are, like Theta is so backed up, it'd be like, I don't even know how to put it kindly. And then I'm going to XRP because I know this live's going to get away from me because there's so much information. But it's like the inverted head and shoulders are there. It's just a matter of, does it play out on us? Play to the downside. It's there. Does something come out that's, or not hundreds of dollars for Theta, but I meant file when I was talking about that. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. But Theta was up at, let's see, 1651. And like when you want to talk about things that are just outrageously come down, even at 78 cents, it's 95% down. At 78 cents, let alone 72. And then you look at where we're at. Oops. And this is a little above at 73.3, just in case you buy it later. Just to get back to all-time highs, I mean, it's a pretty sneaky, it's a pretty big range. Oops. I don't want to do it from 81 cents. There, 75, good enough. So if you bought it at 75-cent range, that's 2,000% back to the top. And that, Theta definitely looks like if it ever pulls back up, which it will, it's in the Internet of Things. This is one of the most important ones when it comes to the new Internet and the way information is going to be moved. Theta and Filecoin are a big part of that. And then with the Internet of Things, believe it or not, Theta plays a big role in the transferring of information to, I don't want to say it, but to the humanoids and stuff that are going to be around us soon. And the robotic stuff that are going to be walking amongst us. This plays a big role in it. So I'm not saying you're investing in the evil, but what I am saying is you're investing in the evil with all of this. So be wise. XRP. So it comes back to this again. Is that the second? Are we into the third wave then? If we break out here and we get past 265 and then ultimately overtake $3, we're probably in wave 3. And if we are, that's going to surge us plus $4. So if it plays out, we're in good shape. It's all about if we can find that momentum. The one thing again, though, you know, that it does bother me. I want to see some kind of volume come in. And again, it's almost like when we get these push-ups, they shut the sell off. And the volume is there, but it's not really what you've come to expect in a severe rally. You know, it's not what you've come to expect. You know? Back here at least, yeah, something was happening. Now, could something start here? I mean, it could. Has it so far? Not really. Now the daily, you can see at least on this 4.3 million to where we were at, you know, but there's been this volume before. We would need to push up and have some kind of surge. We're not having it yet. So that's what I keep monitoring. Are we going to get some kind of big volume surge? That kind of speaks to the fact that, hey, the dynamics here have changed a little bit, and, you know, we're going a little bit deeper right now. Bitcoin being over 108K is helping and hurting because the Bitcoin dominance just seems like, you know, it wants to hang out here, but it is down almost 1/4% at least. Let's see. Trigger warning. Thank you so much for the $1.99 donation. Said, think you could have a look at VELO before you go. Yeah, we can take a look at VELO. VELO is another one that eventually it'll have to do something. It's been stuck here for a long time. It literally played out of that. So, and then it got the rejection and immediately played down too. Once it got the rejection on there, it played out almost perfectly from that target. And then it played down. Now you could argue that maybe it is starting to bottom in reverse, but as long as it's below that, it's got to get well above this. I remember when we were looking at this and we're like, ooh, it looks like it's going to drop below. And we watched when it had that nice parabolic spike too, from November up to here. That's when we were holding it. Oh, it's glorious. It's a nice move. Because I bought it at 0, whatever. I remember when it made that move. That was a nice move. And then we just had to let it go. It got rejected. Buy support, sell resistance. So if you were going to buy it, you would have bought here. But I stopped really We watched it, remember? Now it's consolidating. Eventually it should pull back up. It's created its own little pattern here. I mean, it's kind of a jank pattern at that, but jeez, it's ugly. At least got to get over this to start. So you got two little layers that it's got to get over. That's how I would look at it. I think it's back up in that little channel that it was trading in. I wouldn't call that a rising channel. It just looked like it was an up channel, that it was just consistently making a little more movement. But you could have broke that off into different ways. But yeah, I mean, lot to be desired here. Lot to be left on the table. It could be reversing before our very eyes, though. Like that looks like a bullish reversal. Looks like that is where it exhausted itself. And because it didn't make a new low, you could say this could be trying to make some kind of quick inverse pattern. So first layer to get past would be like that 1378 and then 172. And then once you get past 172, you got a lot of room to fly. So there's potential there. You'll just have to be on the ball and paying attention to it, that's for sure. And then you have to see what works for you. You know, at the end of the day, you got to see what works for you. I don't get deterred one day or another if it does something I don't want it to do, because then I pay attention to where the next opportunity is. I love seeing what XCN's done. That 13.3% eats up that drop. So now that's at least breaking back into the range of, you know, getting back into where it needs to. Because it fell out for a second, but look, it quickly fell out. The uptrend maintained, held, and now back up. We would have been paying attention to that. That was close enough to the uptrend now to where I could have made a play. Legitimately, it was within that 10% of bear. So now we'll see if it plays out, because it's on that inverse head and shoulders that we've been watching. Kind of a little disappointed I didn't buy that. But I was paying attention to Theta, so I'm not going to complain about it. You know, I'm not going to get mad about it. Kind of had the three-legged monster of Theta, Data, and AMP on my mind. Just because of how much all three of these have dived. Data because it's an IoT token. And it's kind of, to me, it's going to do exactly what MEXC and, or what MEXC did, or MXC did. Moonchain. I think it's going to do a similar. So while some of these other cryptos we watch do 40, 60, 70%, I think this is going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to be like, holy shit, there's another one. And it's just overdue. While a lot of these other cryptos haven't even come close to making new lows, this has. Big time. It did. You know, you want to talk about some that have absolutely gotten taken to the woodshed since January? That's a compelling case of down 80% since January. Oh yeah, that's not as bad as it gets. This guy's gotten taken, literally, they took it out back and they bled it. This was like a vampire bleeding and then debilitating, and then I can't even remember what's going on. 94%. 94% this is down since 2021. So it's like, that's where my focus is at. You know, so I try to find the opportunity that might be missed, but it has to fit my agenda. That's what happened with MXC. I was so on it, and then remember I had to let it fall, and it made me mad because I couldn't buy it because it failed. Even when I tried to get in, I had to get back out because it failed that support. But then it fell like 50 or 60%. And then when I got back in finally, it ended up going up like 6 or 7x. That's what I think happens here. Tried to get in it at like 147 or 15 before. Got rejected. We had to get out. And then it comes down here. No, it was higher. It was like 1.8. Yeah, 1.8. And then it got rejected. Came down. So, you know, now it's just the next opportunity. Now instead of it being farther up towards the top, now it's at the support structure. But is that really the support structure? Like, would you look at it like that? I think I would. Because it did fall outside of it, but then you look at the bearish rejection. So I think I would look at it like that. So now it's like you're taking a leap. That it's going to at least come back up to the top of this formation before it gets rejected. Not to the very top yellow line, but at least to the micro movement of, hey, at least a 200 day, that's 7%. But to get it back up here is 23%. To try to attempt another breakout is 35.3%. So then it becomes, do you want to take a risk or do you want to wait 35%? That's the two options. You know, or you could wait for the mid-tier move of 21 or 22, but by then now all of a sudden you're paying, you know, right now you'd be paying 78 cents on the dollar. If you wait for the longer move, it's like paying 64 cents on the dollar right now, which means then you can buy probably something else. But I don't like to sit back and say, I wish I would have done that. I've had too many of those in life. So now it's like, if it cost me a couple dollars, you know, artificially on the portfolio, and then I wait for it to go to the next structure, and I actually end up with more even though I have less money in my portfolio, I don't care. I'm happy. Now I got more and my portfolio shows less, but I actually have more tokens. That can only end one way good. Especially when you get the reversal if you stay with that logic. Am I really getting more plants right now? Looks like I'm going to be a busy man once I get out of here. I literally got done with everything I needed in the garden. I'm like, all right, the watering phase, this is great. Now I got a plant. Let's see what he drops off. Probably another plant. But that's okay. It happens. It happens. I'd rather have planting than not. It keeps you centered. I like growing stuff. Although most of the stuff I buy looks like shit. You should see this plant I bought. It was a $17. I don't even know what the hell it is. It's so dried out. But it was 80%. What the hell is that? Hartman. It was 80% off. And it got here and I'm like, oh my god, it's so dry. So I planted it today. Hopefully it'll do fine. Item with, oh, it's my tool set. It's about fucking time it gets here. I had to buy a thing to put all the tools and stuff in. It's about damn time it gets here. I'd run away too after we drop that box off. Anyhow. Let's see. But right now, it's the waiting game. Because now we're at the precipice again. Like XRP came up to that 234 area. That's a resistance right now. Just the mid, actually it didn't hit it all the way, did it? 233. But it's basically there. And like I said, the technical target from here, if it plays true, is $2.71. Pivot point's at 265. There's a few mid-tier resistances, but it is what it is. With the IoT tokens, let's see where our streamer token sits right now, which is data. Sitting at 932. Moonchain dropped to 1,182. Streamer is 1.14 billion tokens, or for data. Seems to me like it's going to be one of the ones that is going to end up having one of these big surges here at some point. I've been watching it for a very, very long time. And I know we're close. I just didn't know if it would go to 008 or not. But every step of the way, I'm going to try to take it when it gives us a shot out here. Adam says, me minding my own business. Meanwhile, Tom out here being like, nope, time for another video. Oh, indeed, Adam. Indeed. Well, I try to take advantage of the time I have because now I got to go back outside and work, as it turns out, once I get done. But when you're growing a big garden and, you know, like I have cannabis and I have everything in between, you know, it's going to take some time. I basically have a farm in the city, so it's like a city farm. It's the best you could hope for. Whoops. Let's see. Because I only have like an 8,100 square foot lot, so it's not huge. It's not terribly small either. Most of my neighbors have like 3,000 square foot lots. The one has 6,000 square foot, and that's pretty big compared to the other ones. And I have a full 2,000 more, so that's a good thing. And I'm on the corner, so that's an even better thing. And I have a brick wall around most of my place, so that's even better. Well, on the important side. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I like the way this is transgressing. It's eventually going to be on a surge. I really believe it, too. It's the same thing I used to do monitoring with MXC. I know this isn't the sexy stuff, but this is the good stuff. This is the stuff that, if I don't tell you, you might never hear about. You might even not know what I'm talking about. I want to see what happened with any news with Ripple versus SEC. Judge Torres to grant Ripple SEC motion today. Pro XRP lawyer weighs in. We're still waiting. I don't really see much yet. I'm going to go to Actually, maybe some of my audience. I don't think there's been much today, though. I haven't really seen anything. Then again, I've been seeing a lot of the sun today, so. Nope, nothing from him. See Brad Garlinghouse, anything from him? Probably not. He probably wouldn't be the one that you'd be looking for right now. I'm looking more like James K. Phelan and these other schlubs. Stuart Alderodi, good one. Not that they're schlubs, but they're kind of just like talking heads at this point. They're like, you know, when you're in charge of the board and they're kind of like your pawn and chess pieces, so you bring them out when they're needed, like, you know, John Deaton. Yeah, see, no one's saying anything. No one's hinting at anything, so I don't think Ripple said anything. No, so we're just gonna have to wait right now. We're just gonna have to wait and see. What the hell is this? Oh, let's watch this.
Nestled between glass towers, in the heart of Southeast Asia, nestled between glass towers, oceans, and time zones,
Whoops.
to innovate.
Come on, Jennifer, I just seen that you said you got a new horse. I'm excited to see that. Wow. That's a lot of responsibility, too. I'm glad you're staying busy. And hopefully the horse stays in very, very good health. Very, very good
A
health.
journey across in the heart of Southeast Asia, nestled between glass towers
Farmer Tom, indeed.
and vertical gardens, an extraordinary migration begins. Every year, they journey across oceans and time zones to innovate together. The developers are arriving. Here in Singapore, a gleaming tech oasis, the species congregate for a sacred event, Apex 2025. Observe a pack of the Web3 engineerists, agile minds, alert pupils, here to congregate upon the foot.
Okay, I don't really give a rat's ass, to be honest with you. This is something I have more interest in. In fact, that a lot were asking about that, so I mean, you see it's on there. What Brad Garlinghouse say? Well, this is better. We'll listen to him.
Singapore across Southeast Asia. I think as a community, I mean that broadly, across Singapore, across Southeast Asia, you have a community of entrepreneurs. Like the energy that I feel being here, I mean, it's I think profound. And so I think this will continue to be a region that thrives and leads, and I think you'll see more and more faster adoption, partly as you see the U.S. as a regulatory leader. A lot of other countries look to the U.S. I think people grossly underrated how much momentum is going to be created by the largest economy in the world finally shifting into a pro-innovation, pro-crypto posture.
Man, I mean, that's basically everything I got today. My son's outside. I'm probably going to go spend some time with him outside. So I thank everybody for tuning in. I'll try to put out some more information today as we go. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all for spending some time with me. Remember, XRP's got to get over $2.34 and ultimately try to break towards 265. You'll have resistance at 242, right around 252, 265, and then the 272 target out of this breakout. And then obviously that's not the whole target, but that's the short target. Bitcoin is breaking out of the first target, but it needs to get out of the second layer. So we should be coming up near 109 or 110 to see if it's going to be one of those deals. If we get above that, 124 is right around the corner. But we'll